Hey, y'all. All right, y'all, let's talk about this. I often encourage the people I work with, whether I'm working with them as their coach or as their therapist, I encourage them to get a PhD in themselves. Now, hear me, this is not in any way to encourage any of us to be self absorbed in an unhealthy way. It's actually quite the opposite. I encourage all of us, including you, including me, to get a PhD in ourselves because I have found that one of the greatest challenges in healthy relationships is a lack of self awareness. What I have found is that most people have not done the real work to understand why they do the things they do, why they show up in life the way they show up, why this bothers them, but that doesn't. So many times we end up deflecting or projecting what is really our stuff onto others. One of the things that often surprises people is when I share this with them. It actually frustrates people when I tell them, listen, that thing that's triggering you, or that thing that bothers you, or that situation that irritates you, y'all, it really has more to do with you than the situation or the person. When we feel some kind of way, because we don't pause and pay attention, go back a few videos. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We talked about why it is so important for all of us to learn to pause and pay attention to what we are feeling. But because we don't often do that, we don't pause and pay attention, we just keep going, we keep pushing, and we continue patterns. And often those patterns are rooted in destructive behaviors that doesn't even serve us. So what do? Well, we have to again get a PhD in ourselves. But what in the world does that even mean? Y'all, it basically means that when you feel some kind of way, when you feel triggered, even when you're happy or when you're frustrated, whatever it is, it means that I want you to start being intentional about understanding what makes you tick. Instead of blaming your emotions on them, instead of pointing out, see, they always do X, Y, and Z, I want you to take a moment to simply ask yourself, wait, what am I feeling in this moment? And once you identify the feeling, take some time to get clear on what you're thinking. Y'all, that's the start. Now, of course, I believe we need support in peeling back the layers. Y'all, I need help in understanding my conscious and my subconscious thoughts. Y'all, we need someone to help us understand our values, to help us understand our core beliefs and whether we need to hold on to them. But if you do these 3 steps, you pause, and you pay attention, you really pay attention to what you're feeling. Then you have to identify the feeling. And then lastly, when you get clear on what you are thinking, those 3 steps will get you started until you intentionally create a circle of support that's going to help you dig a little bit deeper. Okay, one more thing. I want to help you understand even more why this is so important. Why do we even need to do this work? Why in the world does any of this even matter? Well, besides the most important part, your own healing, my own healing, it's also important because a lack of self-awareness, hear this, will keep you in a cycle of disconnected relationships. I want you to hear me. For many of you listening to me in this moment, the people in your life start out at a deficit in your heart and they don't even realize it. You may not even realize it. You wonder why your relationships often seem surface. You wonder why it always seems like you can't really trust someone. Well, it can at times be because of what we have been talking about. You haven't gotten clear on your own triggers, your own hurt, your own disappointments. So when you meet someone, whether it's a new friend, maybe it's a colleague at work, a potential romantic partner, for some of you, even in your current relationship or marriage, it really doesn't matter who. When you meet these people, they are starting out in the negative, at a deficit. They are paying the price for the hurt and pain you experienced as a child or in your last relationship. So they aren't even starting out with a chance because they first have to overcome a deficit that they didn't even cause. So as you begin to discover more about you, you will find that you will begin to have more healthy and more mutually beneficial relationships because you are no longer holding people responsible for the pain of your past. Okay, that's it. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about what I've shared today? How are you going to be more intentional about getting a PhD in you? I'll talk to you soon.